please remain muted unless you are speaking. We would also like to let everyone know that this meeting is being recorded and also streamed on Facebook Live. We have the press release and the report officially going live now that it's 11 o'clock and our press conference has started. So that is going to be sent out to press by Emily, our communications coordinator here at COA. We'll also be sharing the links in the chat. And last item to note is that we will be gladly taking any questions at the end. You can feel free to send any questions in the chat as they pop up and we will address them at the end. Or we would invite anyone to use the raise hand feature at the end, and we'll gladly take in-person questions rather than via chat. But we will get to that after the wrap up of the agenda. So I am going to turn it over to our Executive Director, Cindy Ziff.
Hi, good morning, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us for this long anticipated event where we release the results from last year's beach sweeps and do a great call for action for our beach cleanup coming up. I'm just going to give a very brief overview about the agenda, what we plan to do. I'm going to talk a little bit about how we use the data that is so carefully produced by our wonderful volunteers. And then we're going to turn it, we have a very big announcement about some new ways of engaging more folks in collecting data. Then we're going to turn it over to Allison, who's going to do the big reveal of all of the exciting results from last year in a report that was produced by Emily Murray, our new communications person, as Allison mentioned. And then we're going to announce our statewide and our sponsors, all of our sponsors, including our statewide sponsors, who will say a few words. And then we're going to turn it over to Allison again for the big call to action for the beach sweeps coming up. So without, oh, and then there's also, if any of the press is interested, we will be doing real world interviews on the beach in the afternoon, if anybody would care to come out, enjoy a nice brisk, chilly day out on the beach, although that sun is warming things up really well right now. So, we started the beach sweeps back in 1985 with a few numbers, about 70 volunteers that got out there to clean up the beach. And the purpose was, of course, to remove the unsightly debris and get that off the beaches. But more importantly, it was to start collecting data, to start to collect the evidence. 36 years later, thousands of people and millions of trash later, it is clear that the power of the people is what really helps motivate people to improve and protect the environment. It's getting those people out on the beaches, and it's getting that snapshot of litter. It's a very tedious task with our over 100 items on our data card to tackle each, to collect all this data. It's time consuming, but it's crucial to get that evidence, because with that evidence from that snapshot of a spring and fall event, we can use that to drive public policies. And we've been, very successful over the years in moving good public policies to reduce the amount of litter that's winding up in our waterways, which of course is not only unsightly, but it impacts marine life, from, causing, some harmful, but also all the way up to being lethal. Animals get entangled, or they consume the debris. So it's really important to get those public policies. And as I said, we've been successful at the local level. We've been successful at the state and federal level. And I just wanted to quickly highlight two that's pretty exciting from in this year so far. One is the Single-Use Waste Reduction Act, which is a statewide law that started being implemented last year by prohibiting plastic straws except upon request. And then this May 4th, the really full aspects of the bill kick in, where plastic bags and foam containers will be banned. So that is a statewide bill, and that is really a testament to the power of the people that they were really ready to get rid of those really dangerous and harmful plastic bags, as well as the foam containers. And then secondly, the Recycled Content Act was signed into law this year, which is very important because it provides incentives for recycling by creating a market for the recycled product. And then going forward this year, I'll give you a little sneak peek. We're going after balloon litter in a big way this year, and you'll hear more about that in the future. But but as I mentioned, one of the very exciting things we're announcing today is the release of a very special data card that's been long in the making, and to expand our engagement with folks, a broader group of folks. And I'm going to introduce Mandy Wheeler, who's going to unveil the big reveal of this new way in which to engage more and more people. Mandy was a beach sweep captain for over 25 years plus, probably. She also worked for Clean Ocean Action after her retirement as our education coordinator. But before her retirement, she spent 30-plus-ish years teaching Spanish and French in public schools in New Jersey. So to reveal this great tool, we're going to expand our ways of getting people involved is Mandy Wheeler. Turn it over to you, Mandy.
Hola a todos y gracias por la oportunidad. As Cindy was mentioning, I am a long time world language and environmental educator, and have spent a long time in many, many beach sweeps on the beach, and hoping for more inclusion in our beach sweeps always from the community. And in that effort, we put together this Spanish data card, and it was a collaborative effort between Clean Ocean Action and myself. And our hope is that not only does this serve as a tool for inclusion and accessibility, but also as an educational resource. Was everybody able to
Cindy,
hear
you're
that?
on mute.
Sorry about that. Thank you so much, Mandy. We're so excited about this new tool to use to engage broader audiences in this effort to address plastic pollution. Mandy is visiting with us from the great ocean state of Arizona right now, and she has to leave for another appointment. But if anybody has any questions, we'll just maybe give it one moment to see.
I have the first question. Were you guys able to hear me?
Yes.
Okay, because it suddenly said unmute yourself in the middle of that. I wasn't sure whether I thought I had unmuted myself, but okay, good.
But thank you, Mandy, so much. We're really excited. And I'll also mention that we put out to our beach sweep captains, the heart and soul of the beach sweeps, that we have these data cards available. And many, many beach sweep captains wanted to have some, requested them for their sites this year already. So it's really seems to be a very welcome tool for us to engage folks. So thank you so much.
That's great. Bravo.
And so, yes, thank you. So now, without further ado, the big reveal of the data, to which we are all excited to share. I'm going to introduce again Allison Jones, our watershed program manager, and who also serves as the statewide beach sweep coordinator, wrestling all the towns and all the folks together and make it really a wonderful experience for everyone. So we're so grateful to Allison, who put such a smile and an easy way into getting people involved in getting the towns to participate. So I'll let her release the big news. And also I wanted to give a shout out to Emily Murray, who helped produce her first beach sweep report. It's a challenge, and it was a very, very exciting experience for all. But thank you so much, Emily. It looks great, and I'm sure everyone will enjoy it. Allison.
Thank you, Cindy. Yes, and in addition to, I also would love to shout out Katie Mitchell on the Clean Ocean Action Team. She's our community science associate, and she put in many, many hours. Once the data comes back to Clean Ocean Action from all of our wonderful volunteers, we have to take all that data and put it into a database to be able to generate this report every year. So Katie was instrumental in making that happen for this year's data. So thanks so much to Katie, who is here on this call. So a little shout out to her as well. All right, so let's get into it. The 2021 Beach Sweeps Report. Okay, there we go. Okay, so first, it's always exciting to see our cumulative numbers since 1985. We have collected over 7.9 million pieces of debris, and that has been collected by 157,863 volunteers. Every single one counts and contributes to that number. And estimating roughly the number of volunteer hours, it is over 947,000. So thank you so much to all the volunteers that help us get to those numbers. It's unfortunate that that number is so high, but it really is a testament to the dedication of all of our volunteers. Some of the data highlights from this year's report: we collected, our volunteers at just the 2021 beach sweeps collected a record number of items, 513,605, and that was collected by 10,000 volunteers. So roughly 50 pieces per person out there for their 3 hours out on the beach. Some other record numbers that we saw this year were plastic bottle caps and lids. We saw 69,454, and 58,589 food and candy wrappers were collected in 2021. So now this is over 70 sites over the 2 days of the beach sweep. So we host them April and October. So it's just about 6 hours that all of this data is generated by these 10,000 volunteers. You can see how it really adds up. So one of the things that we are always interested in looking at, and this is why the data is so valuable, which Cindy already talked about, we're able to monitor trends in the data by comparing one year to the next, comparing seasons. So this is a little bit of that comparison that we did for our report this year. We did have to look back at the 2019 data. Due to the pandemic in 2020, we only had the fall beach sweeps that year rather than both events. We had to cancel the spring. So we couldn't really use that data for comparison. So this is looking back at 2019. And you can see that we had some interesting increases in some items. One that I would really like to highlight here is the increase that we saw in all types of balloons. So that includes mylar and rubber balloons with and without strings attached to them. And unfortunately, in 2021, there was a 35.67% increase. And that 2021 total of 5,234 balloons is just shy of our record number of balloons actually from 2018, which was 5,470. So that's certainly a concerning trend that balloons are back on the rise from a little bit of a decline in 2019. So we will be working to address that for sure. Increases in some of the foam items that we were seeing. Other foam plastic had over a 125% increase, and that foam out in the environment just breaks down into smaller pieces. So that's something we'll be looking at in the future. And along with that record number of plastic bottle caps, we also saw an increase in the bottle cap rings themselves, which is kind of not surprising when you think that they go hand in hand. On a more positive note, we also saw decreases in some items, including some of the less pleasant items to stumble upon when you are out on the beach. So diapers, condoms, and tampon applicators all had a pretty significant decrease from 2019 in 2021, which was great to see. Another decrease was six-pack holders, so those typical six-pack rings that are often associated with doing a lot of harm to marine wildlife. Those decreased by over a quarter. So that was also exciting to see this year. And plastic pieces went down, and 2019 was actually a record number. That 95,963 went down by almost 30%. However, that item is still in our dirty dozen, which is our top 12 most commonly collected items. So despite the decline, it's still very high on the list of items that we find at the beach sweeps. Okay, and then in 2021, so this past year, it was the first year that we released our new and improved data card. So as I mentioned, we always monitor trends, and we're always keeping track of items that are becoming more and more common. So comments, they write them in other sections, and we are always looking at that information. So we take that information, and over a few years or so, we'll look at the data card and revise it as needed to be able to track certain items that are becoming more common. So some of the items that we added to the data card are highlighted here. We had cotton swab sticks, which are little plastic sticks that you find on the beach in all different colors. Found 274 of those, and we're hoping to educate our beach sweep volunteers more about what those look like, because they're easily mistaken for a lollipop stick or a coffee stirrer, perhaps. So that's its own item on the data card. Those very ubiquitous dental floss picks that I know I see in parking lots all the time, 2,172 of those were collected. Disposable wipes, over 1,500. Dog waste bags with dog waste in them. Our volunteers collected, bless them, 1,667 of those dog waste bags. And then we also have e-cigarette related waste, which is what's being shown in that middle photo at the top, 3,686 of those related debris, which we have been seeing a lot of those on beaches. And plastic food takeout containers. So as we're moving away from styrofoam, and especially with the pandemic where takeout became so popular, it was the go-to to support all of our restaurants and local businesses. We found 2,020 plastic food takeout containers on the beach. And then of course we had PPE, which we started tracking. We did track it a bit in 2021, but this was the first year that it was very explicitly included on the data card. So we found a total of 3,080 disposable masks, 538 reusable masks, and then 1,310 disposable gloves. So while we all know how important these items are for protecting ourselves and each other, we've been trying to get the messaging across that it's so important to make sure that they're disposed of properly. So hopefully that's something we don't have to worry about in the near future. Hopefully we see those numbers on the decline, but we are tracking them moving forward. Okay, so getting into the breakdown of our data and that dirty dozen that I mentioned. So this is the chart showing the top 12 most commonly collected items. An interesting change to this year's dirty dozen, as I talked about a little bit earlier, we did see almost a 30% decrease in plastic pieces from 2019, which was a record year. And we also had that record number of plastic caps and lids. So what that resulted in on our dirty dozen is that those two items switched places. Plastic pieces had been the #1 item since 2013. So this is a really interesting change that we'll be curious to see how it shakes out in the coming years. But plastic caps and lids being on the rise is definitely a concern, and that had not been the #1 item on this dirty dozen list since 2010. So in over a decade, we haven't seen quite this number of plastic caps and lids. Again, looking at the positive things, you can see towards the bottom of the Dirty Dozen, 4 of our items did drop down a little bit in the ranking. So that was great to see. And one of those is plastic store and shopping bags, which Cindy talked about how that law will be going into effect, where stores will not be able to give out plastic shopping bags. So we hope to someday soon see that maybe drop off of the Dirty Dozen, if not just keep declining. And then the breakdown of our data. This is a very common trend that we have been seeing for quite some time now in our data, is that plastic is dominant this year, including foam. 82.32% of all the debris, so that 500,000 pieces of debris collected, 82.32% of it was plastic and foam plastic. We are seeing less and less of all the other types of material from year to year. Okay, and the moment perhaps you've all been waiting for, our 2021 roster of the ridiculous. So volunteers at the beach sweeps also have the opportunity on the front of the data card to track unusual items, and we love for volunteers to report those to us. Do keep in mind that these are just written reports, so we get the data cards back with these items. Most of the time, over 70 beaches, we don't get the opportunity to verify, although we do get pictures sometimes. We love those pictures of the unusual items. But amongst this year's roster of the ridiculous, people reported finding an Invisalign. We also had a full set of dentures along that vein, a gas can, some car air fresheners, a CD case full of Limp Bizkit CDs, which is very specific. A mini fridge found its way onto the beach, a Buzz Lightyear action figure, $20, which we're not sure what happened with that $20. Hopefully it was donated or maybe tried to be returned to its rightful owner. Rosary beads and pesticide treated flags that you would see on lawns. So those are probably blowing away and finding their way into waterways. So we had there's a very extensive list in the report, but these were just some of the interesting ones that we pulled out. Oops, duplicate slide, it looks like. So that is the 2021 beach sweeps data. Of course, the report is chock full of more in-depth information, but those were the highlights for this year. So looking ahead to our beach sweeps coming up next weekend on April 9th, we are, of course, very grateful to all of our sponsors that year after year support the beach sweeps and help to make this event possible. So this is all of our sponsors. I'm going to turn it back over to Cindy to introduce our statewide sponsors to speak.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Allison. So amazing to see all the detail that we can get out of that incredible data that everyone has so dutifully tallied for us. It is a labor of love, and we're so grateful to the thousands upon thousands of citizens that come out onto the beach. There are a lot of logistics, as you can imagine, on our end for implementing the beach sweeps. And they are from as far north as up in Essex County all the way down to Cape May. So there's a lot going on. And in order to do this great project, we need to have the support in order to run these programs. So that's where our sponsors come in, and we could not be more grateful, as Allison mentioned, to our sponsors. There they all are. From statewide to county to site sponsors. It's just so important to have their support. And what I would like to also say about the sponsors is not only are they donating to the event, and we highlight that support, but they're all really committed to the actual activity. It's just wonderful to have them out on the beaches. They get their staffs out there, and it really is a wonderful collaboration of partnership. And beyond, I mean, for example, ServPro, which is one of our county sponsors, they helped us out last year. We had a little bit of a problem in our basement, and they helped us and fixed us right up. So it's really great to have all the support and the talents of all of our many participants. For example, Bayshore Recycling, they also donate a container for all of the garbage that we collect just at Sandy Hook, since it's such a large location. So again, we're really grateful, and we're very excited to announce our statewide sponsors for this year's 2022 event. And we have some of them here to speak, and I'm going to welcome them alphabetically. So since 2009, we have had Bank of America join us as statewide sponsors, and we're just so grateful to them. They've been around for quite a long time and have been so great at turning out their team as well at all the different locations. Claudia Dulac is here from New Jersey Market Executive, and she's going to say hello to everyone and say a few words. Claudia.
Thank you, Cindy, and good morning, everybody. And thank you, Allison. And Mandy, gracias. Yo también hablo español. So I think it's fantastic that we're translating the information so that everybody can participate. But good morning. Again, my name is Claudia Dulac. I'm a Senior Vice President. I'm the New Jersey Market Executive. And on behalf of Bank of America, we're thrilled to join you today and celebrate a record-breaking year for Clean Ocean Action Beach Sweeps. Bank of America, as was mentioned, is a longtime partner. We have been a partner with Ocean Action, Clean Ocean Action's Beach Sweeps for 10 years. So really important work. Since 1985, Clean Ocean Action has made a tremendous impact in our community by cleaning our beaches, removing harmful debris and unsightful debris. I found the report very interesting. I know I have two daughters who are very interested in what they use and what they don't use and how they're contributing to the environment. So I will be sure to pass on that great information as well. At a time when we're being affected with climate change more than ever, and it's being felt across the country, including here in New Jersey, it's critical that we all do our part to create a more environmentally sustainable future. At Bank of America, our teams are committed to working, and you heard, I think it was Cindy talk about how our teammates love to participate, they love to come out, and they want to volunteer as well. Just so you know, this year, on April 9th, it will be one of our first in-person volunteer events. So I can't even tell you how excited our teammates are to participate and get out there. I have cleaned the beaches, and I have to tell you, it is such a rewarding feeling, as I'm sure many of you know, to leave the day exhausted and feeling like you left it better than you found it, and you left it better for the future. Across the globe, Bank of America has a My Environment program where we have over 24,000 employees that volunteer in communities across the country with environmentally focused organizations. So again, really, it's a focus for us as an organization and as a community and in the communities that we serve. And as we think about all that we can do and we can continue to do as environmental stewards, whether it's recycling at home, recycling at work, planting a tree, or cleaning up locally, because we offer that as well for teammates that still are not comfortable to come out in groups. We offer virtual cleanup, so you can go out in your own neighborhood and clean up and be able to share those stories as well. So again, thank you for having us. It's an honor to be a partner with Clean Ocean Action Beach Sweeps and all the amazing work that you're doing. I congratulate you on the work for 2021 and all the work that you will continue to do to have such a positive impact here in New Jersey. So thank you.
Oh, Claudia, thank you so much. That was really wonderful. Thank you. It is, it's an honor to have you as a partner, and we're really grateful to you and your entire team. Looking forward to seeing you on April 9th.
Thank you.
And the saying, make new friends. I'm now very honored and delighted to introduce our newest statewide sponsor, Brother International Corporation. Bill Henderson is here to say a few words. Thank you so much, Bill. We've got a couple of Brother machines in our office, and so we're not just proud of our partnership, but we've also got your working machines. You're helping us internally protect the environment.
That's awesome. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Thank you, Cindy, and thanks to the whole team. And of course, thanks to everybody for attending today. I'm Bill Henderson, and I'm a Senior Vice President here at Brother International. And we are definitely thrilled to be a sponsor this year of Clean Ocean Action's 37th annual statewide beach sweeps. So we actually love the beach sweeps for a variety of reasons, but a few of them are, number one, Clean Ocean Action's work is so important. So programs like the beach sweeps, of course, play a big role in drawing attention to the challenges and also reducing the plastics and other pollution from the ocean. And they do it both on kind of a broader public level, as far as awareness goes, but also on a really great grassroots personal level. And I know firsthand that folks participating in the program really learn and really experience and understand better the scope of ocean pollution, and really, I think, end up becoming better advocates for the ocean and the environment. So that's great. Second, beach sweeps are a really great fit for Brother International. So when we talk about corporate social responsibility, there are a bunch of pillars, but one of the key ones for us is the environment. So a lot of our activities in various areas are focused on environmental concerns. But also, we try really hard to focus our corporate activities in the communities where we live and work. So New Jersey is home to Brothers US headquarters. And so participating and trying to clean up and help beautify the hundreds of miles of really wonderful beaches in New Jersey is a great fit for us. And third, as others have said, honestly, the beach sweeps are a really great experience. So last year, over 50 Brother employees and their family members participated in 2 sweeps. I had the pleasure of joining and of course found it really fun, a great teamwork experience, but also it was rewarding, it was tough work, and it was really eye-opening. And you know, when you hear about trash and then when you actually pick it up, it's a different thing. And so when you participate in picking up hundreds and hundreds of pieces of plastic and plastic bags and cigarette refuse and styrofoam and bottle caps and all the more outlandish ones that you heard about today, all in honestly a pretty short amount of time, and on a beach that you think in your mind should be a relatively clean one, you really understand the scope of the problem at a more personal level. And I find that you end up making changes in your life. So through our sponsorship, what Brother aims to do is support Clean Ocean Action's efforts to do our small part to help the environment and to help educate and connect with our New Jersey neighbors. So thanks again to Clean Ocean Action for the great work you do and for the opportunity to speak today.
Thank you so much, Bill. That was really great stories, great stories. That's exactly what we want to do, is we want to give the experience to lead to the changes that we need in everybody's day-to-day life, but also, you know, from the office to hopefully, Washington. So we're working at all different levels to try to reduce that amount of pollution. So thank you so much for those great words. And our final statewide sponsor is one of our longest running statewide sponsors. Wakefern ShopRite has been with us since 1996. And they've been along for the incredible journey we've had all these years through seeing all the changes in the data that we've experienced over the last almost 30 years. So not only are they statewide sponsors and provide us funding resources, but they also supply cards, ShopRite gift cards, so that all of our beach captains up and down the shore can purchase refreshments to keep those volunteers going, and also supply us with the reusable bags so that we can distribute all the materials to the beach captains. So they provide us a lot of the tools we need for the day, and we're very, very grateful to Wakefern. And here we have Steve Hildner who's the Community Relations Administrator, and we're really wonderful to have you with us for all these years, and thank you so much.
It's our pleasure as always. ShopRite is born and bred here in New Jersey, so the beach sweeps are very near and dear to our heart. And that's going to be my dog in the background. The mailman is here right on time. And we are just absolutely delighted to once again be a part of all of this and be with you guys during, as we return to normal. And we feel, really good to get out there together and do what we've done every single year, and that's take care of our beaches.
Thanks so much, Steve. They're really great. And at the Sandy Hook locations, ShopRite always provides a wonderful low waste to no waste breakfast for folks too. So that's, we really appreciate that as well. So thank you all so much to all of our sponsors and to our statewide sponsors for those incredible, wonderful words that you've all shared and the stories. It's really good to hear that the beach sweeps is such an important part of your organizations and your employees. It's really terrific. So I'm going to turn it back over to Allison, who's going to do the big pitch for the Beach Sweeps 2022. It's we're really excited, and we have some news already where it's a groundbreaking year. So Allison, back to you.
Yeah, thanks, Cindy. Well, I think our sponsors just did the pitch better than I ever could. That was really moving to hear all those experiences. So thank you again for sharing. Yes, so we have our spring beach sweeps coming up on April 9th. And we have moved the event a little bit earlier because of holidays and also to try to get out on the beach sooner before all the municipalities start running the machines that help clean the beach, so that we can make sure we're capturing that really pre-cleaning data. So that's why it's coming up a little bit earlier this year, but it is a great way to kick off Earth Month. Rather than just Earth Day, you can celebrate the whole month of April. So we hope that volunteers will join us at the Spring Beach Sweeps on Saturday, April 9th from 9 a.m. to 12:30. And as Cindy noted, it is a record-breaking year right off the jump because we have 75 locations throughout the state, all the way up to Bergen and Essex counties. Along the Bayshore, there's essentially not a beach that won't be covered on April 9th. So we're very excited. And again, that would not be possible without all the beach captains, 1 to 2 beach captains at all of those 75 locations that volunteer their time to coordinate the events and help make sure all the data gets collected and compiled and returned back to us at each of those 75 locations. So much thanks to them, as well as our junior beach captains, our high school students that help out at those sites as well. So if you would like to register for the beach sweeps coming up next weekend, you can go to our website, cleanoceanaction.org, excuse me, and pick one of those 75 locations, and you'll get all the info you need, and you can show up to clean up. And one additional reminder, in addition to bringing yourself to the beach sweeps, make sure that you BYOB, which for us means bring your own bucket. So in an effort to reduce the use of plastic bags for trash and recycling at our beach sweeps locations, we are really encouraging volunteers to repurpose something around the house. So you can get some ideas from these photos here. Repurpose a bucket, a bag, even a reusable bag, as long as you can go home and wash it, that's ideal. We saw laundry baskets last year, pretty much anything that can hold the trash that you're picking up on the beach, bring it out to the beach sweeps, and then we'll consolidate them into fewer plastic bags, which really helps, goes along with the goal of the event to reduce plastic out in the environment. So don't forget that. And there's much more information on our website at cleanoceanaction.org. And that's where you can sign up for April 9th. So thank you all very much for attending today. We're very appreciative of all the support for last year and for this year's event. So thank you. And we will now take questions. So as I mentioned earlier, so let me stop sharing first. You can please feel free to ask any questions in the chat, or we will take questions live. So you can use the raise hand feature. If you go down to reactions, it should be at the bottom of your screen. You can select raise hand. And I do see that we already have a question. So Kenneth Burns, you can go ahead and unmute yourself to ask your question.
Thank you very much. Just a couple of small questions. You might have mentioned this, but were both of the sweeps canceled in 2020 because of the pandemic? And just one technical question as far as plastic pieces. What's the best way to describe them? Are they just items made of plastic, or are they certain items that fit in that category to fit in that plastic pieces description?
Great questions. Yes, so for 2020, only the spring event was canceled. So that would have been April of 2020, where things were extremely uncertain. We were able to host an event in fall 2020 as well. So actually we collected data, same as usual. We always publish a report. So last year we did put out that data just from the fall 2020 report as well. And then we've pretty much kind of been back to mostly normal since that event. We're lucky that it's an outdoor event where people can easily social distance out on the beach. So we weren't too impacted, thankfully, by the pandemic. And then to answer your second question about the plastic pieces. So our data card, you saw it in Spanish, but I should have showed it in English too. But our data card has somewhere between 90 and 100 items. So it is very extensive and includes pretty much any plastic item you could imagine finding out on the beach is included there. So the plastic pieces is pretty much, they're usually smaller pieces, but not always. And it's essentially just plastic that is unidentifiable by the time it's been broken into those smaller pieces. So it's no longer a bottle cap, it's no longer recognizable as a bottle cap or a cigar tip or a food and candy wrapper. And it's sort of just shards of plastic that are left behind.
Great, thanks a lot.
Absolutely, thank you. Any other questions? In the chat. Well, I think that may be it. Looks like it. All right, well, we will call it a day then. We will wrap up. Thank you all again so much for attending, for supporting the beach sweeps, and for being a part of them on April 9th. We look forward to seeing you out at the beach, wherever you're participating. And to reiterate for our press folks that are here, we are available for additional in-person interviews here in Long Branch if you'd like to set something up. Also by phone, by Zoom, happy to do additional interviews. And the link to the press release and the report was sent out in the chat by Emily. So please feel free to reach out if you need anything else from us. So thanks so much. Cindy, you want to say anything to wrap up?
No, just thank you all for participating. Thank you all for your continued support of the beach sweeps, and we'll see you out there. Thanks so much.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.